Texas is building AI factories, but who gets the jobs? Hey, I'm Mike Hamilton. Everybody has been asking the same question about artificial intelligence. Is AI going to take my job? Well, I mean, that's a fair question. But here in Texas, there's another question that's probably just as important. If AI is building a whole new industrial economy, data centers, chips, optical equipment, advanced manufacturing, cooling systems, power infrastructure, software, robotics, who gets those jobs? Because Texas is not just using AI, Texas is being asked to build it. Not the chatbot part, the real world part. The factories, the machines, the network equipment, the massive systems that make the chatbot work. When you ask it to clean up an email, it's got to do something, right? And the power comes from somewhere. And that could be a very big deal. Or it could be another one of those moments where a giant company announces a giant number, puts on hard hats for a photo, and then regular people are left wondering where the opportunity actually went. So today, I want to talk about the Texas AI job story. What's being built? What jobs are going to grow? What jobs are going to shrink or change? Why computer science students are nervous? Why a factory in Sherman, Texas matters? Why Fort Worth, Texas matters? And what you should do if you are not a software engineer, not 22 years old, and not particularly interested in wearing a hoodie to work. For a while, we told people the future was coding. Learn to code. Every school needs coding. Every kid needed to become a software developer. And I guess to be fair, that advice made sense for a while. You know, software jobs were booming. Companies were hiring. Starting salaries, I mean, they look great. The tech industry was growing fast enough that it felt like every business was becoming a technology company, whether it wanted to or not. The AI showed up and made it easier. Not effortless, not automatic, not from nowhere, but easier. A good AI coding tool can write a first draft, explain unfamiliar code, find bugs, create tests, clean up repetitive tasks, and just help a developer move faster. That is very useful. It's also why computer science students are looking around and asking some very uncomfortable questions. Texas universities are changing how they teach computer science because the job market, it's changed. Admissions to computer science programs have reportedly dropped by around 20% in Texas and nationally as software hiring has slowed. Now, recent graduates in computer science and computer engineering are dealing with a much, much tougher market than they expected. That doesn't mean that computer science is dead. No. It means the old promise, which was learn to code, get hired, make six figures, repeat, has gotten a lot less automatic. And frankly, that was always a little too simple. AI does not only replace tasks, it changes what's valuable. If AI can write a basic function, then the value moves towards knowing what needs to be built, what the customer needs, whether the system is safe, whether the answer is correct, and how all those pieces fit together. That means the person who can use AI and has actual judgment becomes more valuable. And that is good news for you experienced people. You may not be the fastest person at typing code, but you may know what a bad decision costs. You may know your customer. You may know your industry. You may know what happens after the meeting, after the sale, after the software ships, and after somebody has to answer the phone when it breaks. AI does not erase that part. It makes it more important. But Texas has another advantage here. We don't just have software people. We build things. Up in Sherman, Texas, a company called Coherent is expanding a facility that makes materials and optical components used in AI infrastructure. Now, that may sound like a sentence designed to make your eyes cross, but here's the plain English version. AI computers have to move enormous amounts of information between chips, servers, and data centers. At a certain scale, you can't just keep throwing ordinary cables at the problem and hoping for the best. You need advanced optical technology, so lasers, components, materials, systems that move data with light. That stuff is part of the backbone of AI, and it's being made in Texas. NVIDIA has a major partnership with Coherent, and the Sherman expansion is expected to create jobs in advanced manufacturing, engineering, and technical work. And that matters. Because one of the healthiest versions of the AI economy is not just we have a data center, it's we make things the world needs to build AI. That creates more durable skills, machining, electronics, optical manufacturing, quality control, facilities, logistics, engineering, industrial maintenance, construction, supply chain work. Those are all real jobs, and they don't all require you to become a machine learning researcher who knows how to pronounce transformer architecture without sounding like you're asking for an oil change. Then there's Fort Worth. Wistron opened a large advanced manufacturing plant there to produce NVIDIA AI systems. These are not little consumer gadgets. These are the massive AI systems built around advanced chips and infrastructure. The facility is hundreds of thousands of square feet. The investment is significant. The systems being built are expensive enough that, frankly, I don't want to be the guy who drops a wrench on that one. This matters because AI is becoming a manufacturing story. For years, we treated technology like it existed in a cloud. But the cloud is just somebody else's building full of equipment. And that equipment has to be assembled, tested, installed, cooled, repaired, upgraded, transported, and powered. Texas can be part of that supply chain. This is a real opportunity, but only if we prepare people for the jobs that are actually coming. Not the jobs we remember from 20 years ago, and not the imaginary jobs in every AI will change everything slideshow. Okay, list time. Here's a list of people who could benefit from the AI build-out in Texas. Electricians, HVAC technicians, industrial maintenance workers, fiber optic installers, construction crews, welders, mechanical technicians, network technicians, security professionals, facilities managers, manufacturing operators, quality control teams, logistics workers, project managers, salespeople who understand a real industry, people who can train workers, people who can keep complicated equipment running at 2 a.m. in the morning when the company on the other end of the phone has a very, very expensive problem. That is the part nobody tells you when they say AI jobs. They make you picture like a 24-year-old engineer in San Francisco. But AI, it needs physical infrastructure. And physical infrastructure needs people who know how to do physical work. That is a Texas strength. All right, quick break. If you're trying to make sense of AI without getting buried under a pile of buzzwords or talked into buying 14 tools you don't need, come join us at UXAI. YOUXAI is a one-day summit coming up September 12th in Waco, Texas. It's built for founders, creators, marketers, and business owners who want practical answers about how AI fits into real work. Not theory, not the robots are coming. There's real people showing what they are building, what's working, what the catches are. And there's an AI track, a creator track, hands-on sessions, and a room full of people trying to figure out how to use this stuff without losing the part that makes their work human. Your experience is the big multiplier. AI, well, that's the accelerant. Now, you can get tickets and details at youxai.live. I would love to see you there. All right, now back to Texas and the very expensive computer warehouses. Let's get back to the big jobs question. Now, I don't want to give you a TED Talk and a hard hat and pretend this is all upside. AI is definitely changing jobs. Some entry-level office work will definitely shrink. Some support tasks will probably be automated. Some basic coding work will be done faster with fewer people. Some companies will use AI as an excuse to cut jobs because efficiency sounds friendlier than we want to spend less on payroll. That will happen, and it's already happening in some places. But this is not a clean story where AI takes one job and creates another job in the same building with the same pay for the same person on the same day. That is not how technology changes work. The real question is whether we help people move toward the job being created. If a company is getting incentives to build AI infrastructure in Texas, then Texas ought to ask, what is it doing for training? Are there apprenticeships? Are there partnerships with maybe community colleges or technical colleges? Are there programs for veterans? Are the opportunities for people who do not have a 4-year degree? Are local workers getting a real shot? Are we importing expertise, taking the tax break, and leaving behind a building with a fence around it? Those are very different outcomes. And this changes what schools need to teach. Yes, kids should understand AI. They should know how to use it, but responsibly. They should know how to check sources, protect private information, spot deep fakes, understand when AI is helping versus when it's making a mess. But schools also need to teach the stuff AI does not magically replace. Communication, problem solving, project management, teamwork, hands-on technical skills, media literacy, trade skills, and the ability to look at an AI answer and say, that sounds great, but it's wrong. The last one, that one may be the most valuable skill in the whole AI economy. You don't need every student to become a programmer. You need students who can work with technology, question technology, and use technology without becoming dependent on it for every thought they have before lunch. If you own a small business, this is also a workforce story. AI is not just something your employees will use. It's something they will expect you to understand. They're going to ask, can I use this to save time? What information is safe to put in? Can it help with customer service? Can it help us write, research, organize, schedule, sell, and create? And you need an answer better than, well, I saw something on Facebook and said it looks dangerous. You don't need a rollout on a giant AI strategy this very week. Start with one repetitive task. Try one tool. Create a policy about sensitive information. You could train people to verify important work and decide where you want a human being to remain responsible. That part, that's leadership. Not having the newest tool, knowing where the tool belongs. Texas is becoming a test case. Can AI create real industrial opportunity here? Can it create skilled work, not just construction jobs followed by a small operations crew? Can colleges and trade programs respond fast enough? Can small business get benefits too, instead of watching giant companies vacuum up every single advantage? Can communities negotiate a fair deal? Can we build the power and water infrastructure without handing regular Texans the bill? And can we prepare people for work that is changing before the change arrives? That part's the big challenge. Not will AI happening? It is happening. The challenge is whether Texas shapes it or gets shaped by it. Here's what I think is coming. More AI infrastructure here in Texas. More advanced manufacturing. More demand for people who can build, maintain, cool, connect, secure, and operate large technical systems. More pressure on schools, colleges, and training programs to move even faster. More companies asking employees to use AI. More people doing jobs that have AI inside them, whether the job title says AI or not. And more confusion for a while, because that's how big transitions work. The people who do well are not always the ones who saw everything coming. They are the ones who stay useful. They learn enough, they adapt, they bring their experience. They find the part of the work that still needs a human being with judgment. And they don't wait until somebody calls their job obsolete before learning the next tool. AI may change software work. It may change office work. It may change how students learn. And it may change how companies hire. But it's also creating a physical economy. And Texas has a real chance to be part of it. Not because we have the best chatbot, because we have people who build things here. The trick is making sure those people are included in the future we're building. If this helped put the Texas AI job story in perspective, would you hit like, subscribe, and maybe turn on notifications? And leave me a comment. What job do you think AI will change first in your world? And what skill do you think becomes more valuable because of it? You can subscribe to my daily newsletter at thatmikehamilton.com for practical AI, tech, tools, and creator business advice for people who remember dial-up. And you can check out my book, Make the Show. If you've been sitting on a podcast, a channel, a creative project, or a business idea because you think you need better gear, more permission, or a perfect plan, well, then Make the Show is here to help you stop waiting and start making. See what I did there? Find the book and subscribe to the newsletter at thatmikehamilton.com. I am That Mike Hamilton. Thanks for watching. Stay curious. Keep a hand on the wheel, and I'll see you next time.